COVID-19 sucks. There, I said it. And this mask, it sucks. I hate wearing this mask to work day in and day out. It's exhausting. I feel like I can't breathe. And by 4 o'clock, 8 hours or 9 hours into my 12-hour shift, I start to go a little crazy. But that aside, got it off my chest. Today, I want to talk to you as a nurse and as a friend about our mental health. I read a poll that was taken recently that said 45% of Americans acknowledge that this pandemic has caused great effects on their mental health. I don't know how accurate this poll is, but I also read a poll that said that many Americans claim that their mental health has been more affected than their physical health or their financial health. Their mental health has been more affected than their physical or their financial well-being. Is that for real? If that's for real, then we need to have this talk today. COVID-19 and this crazy pandemic that our world is experiencing right now has caused so much fear and stress on every single one of us that I think if we're honest, we would admit that, yeah, it has affected our mental health in some way, shape, or form. From the fear of our own health and well-being, the fear of our health and well-being of our children or our loved ones or our friends, the fear of when you are sick. I can't imagine the fear of being sick, the fear for your life, and the fear of, is this the end for me? After all of the stories we've heard in the news, I can't imagine the grief and the sadness and the loss that so many people across this country and across this world are experiencing from loss right now. Loss of a loved one, loss of a friend from COVID-19. The grief is such an intense pain that we need to talk about mental health. I was doing really well. Really well. I started taping these videos because I wanted to share my story and I wanted to be an encouragement to someone. And then COVID-19 hit. And man, it hit me hard. I have not been in a good place the last 2 months. I haven't recorded anything in a few months, and I felt God tell me this last week that even though it seems like absolutely everything is canceled, and even though it feels like I am just not okay, and I am not in a place to share encouragement with anybody, that's a lie. And my calling to share my story has not been canceled. And my need to speak out about mental health concerns has not been canceled. In fact, more than ever today, we need to talk about our mental health and we need to talk about ways that we can cope with it. So I want to talk about what we can control today. There's a whole lot of things we cannot control today. But in the midst of this chaos, in the midst of this suffering that our whole world is experiencing right now, I need to hear this message. So if I'm the only one that is encouraged by this, maybe it's just me, but I needed to be reminded about what I could control, and I feel like it's been helping a lot the last few weeks, and so I just wanted to share this with you. So what can we control? I think we can control our attitude. I know at home when I'm struggling more with my depression and I'm not feeling okay, my feelings tend to dictate the way my whole home feels. But if I can stop in my tracks and change the way I think about something, it does start to affect and trickle down to my whole family. I choose to think about what is true and what is good and what is right. I have needed to turn off the news. I have needed to turn off social media. I have needed to step away from the screens, because a whole lot of screens that I feel like we are just in front of scrolling through all of the time, and they are not good for our mental health. So I have needed to step away, especially being a healthcare worker. I feel like all of our healthcare workers are really, really at risk for being affected by this, the mental side of this COVID-19. I feel like all of our healthcare workers are enduring so much stress right now. Choosing what I can think about. So I have put my Bible verses all around the house again, so that when I start feeling these negative thoughts and I start thinking these overwhelmingly sad things, I have to think about, nope, okay, that is true, but what is also true? I need to put my eyes on God and how He is true, and that He never changes in spite of all of the crap that our world is experiencing. God is true, and He never changes. I have chosen to take care of myself. And when all this started, my self-care that I had learned to do to keep myself feeling well got completely thrown out the window. Because now my home was filled 24 hours a day with 5 people and a dog who I felt like I was taking care of, and cooking and cleaning and teaching and entertaining and cleaning up after all the time. And I have learned that I can't give up my self-care things that I need to do. The kids can survive on TV for 30 minutes while I do a workout. The kids can do the dishes while I choose to eat something healthy instead of eating the junk food that makes me feel so bad. Whether it's just choosing to have a few more fruits and vegetables that day instead of having pizza and ice cream or junk food, which I have been eating way too much of, because it's easy and because ultimately we think it really does make us feel better, but it doesn't. In the end, I feel so much crappier from eating crappy food, and I do ultimately feel so much better mentally when I put better quality nutrients into my body. Self-hygiene. That's a big thing for me with my self-care, is that sometimes I just need to take a shower, and I need to put on a little makeup, and I need to put on some real clothes, and not wear the stretchy clothes all day long. And it makes me feel better. So if that's what you need to do today, do it. Going for a walk. That is a really important self-care thing that I feel like my husband keeps trying to remind me, and he's so patient and he's so loving with me. But when I'm having a bad day, I do not want to do it. But every time I go and I listen to him and encourage me, and I get my butt out the door and I go for a walk, I always feel better. So if that's all you want to do today, go for a walk. That's what you can control today. You can go for a walk. You can get fresh air in your lungs. You can get sunshine on your face. You can listen to music. I have created an entire playlist about worship music that I listen to when I need music therapy. And music therapy really helps me when I'm having a bad day, a bad mental health day. Just choosing to listen to it and let it feed me and speak to me and kind of guide what I think and how I feel. Because music, I feel the music a lot. I'm very emotive and I love music, whether it's happy or sad, I feel it. So if I sometimes just putting on happy music and dancing a little bit with my kids, even though I don't feel like it, ultimately makes me feel a little better. So if you need to have a dance party today to feel better, please do it. So what else? What else you can control today? You can call your doctor. Every doctor right now is doing like telehealth visits or e-visits. I know that Medicare and Medicaid, all of those are now offering and covering the e-visits and the telehealth visits. So if you need to see your doctor and you need to get help for your mental health, you can do it today. It's out there, it's available. If you need to talk to a therapist, I challenge you to do it. If you don't have a therapist, I know there is someone out there who would love to help you and who would love to talk to you. There are lots of apps even nowadays where you can text and talk to therapists that way right now in this day and age. I mean, it's amazing what technology has out there. There's lots of forums and places where you can talk to other people that are struggling with their mental health and know that you're not alone, and find articles and things to encourage you on what you can do to get better. There's a few apps that I wanted to list. There's one called BetterHelp, another called Talkspace. There's one called Larker, if I'm saying that correctly, and there's another one called The Mighty, and I feel like all of those are really great resources for helping you with your mental health. And there is also a website called Open Path Collectives, where therapists offer their services at a cheaper price for those of you that are feeling like you can't afford it right now. So check it out. There's a wealth of resources available for you if you need help. But maybe it's just texting a friend, because even though you don't feel like texting a friend, it's always a good idea. Maybe it's FaceTiming with somebody, even when you feel like you don't have the energy to do it. I've had lots of days where even my best friend, she loves me when I look crappy, when I have no makeup on, when I'm still in bed and I have my jammies on. She still loves me. And yet I still struggle to want to FaceTime her and admit where I'm at. But the few times that I have made myself hit the button, or it's not a button anymore, right? Hit the screen and call her and FaceTime with her, I hang up, and every single time I feel better. So reach out to that person that you need to reach out to today to try and feel better. There are so many things we can do to take steps forward to feeling better today. And even if it doesn't make you feel better in this moment, in this day, you'll probably feel better tomorrow because of it. Because sometimes it's kind of like a buildup. I've had 2 or 3 weeks of just feeling like crap. Like really feeling like crap. But the week of exercise that I made myself do last week, which felt really, really, really painfully hard, I actually felt really good this week. Good enough to put on makeup, put on my scrubs, and stand in front of the camera for you. So, it helped. But my prayer for you is that those of you that are in a low place today, that this was just what you needed, to know that you're not alone, and to know that it's okay to feel crappy today, and maybe find or hear that one thing that, you know what, I could do that today to feel better. I hope you figure out what that one thing is for you today. So that's it. I love you guys. God bless.